Well done, Ken. I just want to start with the couple of changes last minute. That throwing thing around for you.
Yeah, that can upset you a bit, can't it? Especially when one's with about a minute and a half to go before the game. It's only ever happened once before that I can remember that I've been around, and it was the MCG one day at Geelong. So things happen, and you've just got to be prepared to roll with the punches and get on with it. And to the boys' credit, I thought they did that pretty well.
So what happened?
Well, Jacko was just he tweaked his ankle again at training on Wednesday, so we were a bit mindful of that, and we brought him up thinking, well, if he's okay, we'll make that call. But then the weather helped us, honestly. I mean, that certainly helped. We weren't going to need to take a risk, and we made that decision. As we've done all year, I reckon we've not made risky decisions with injuries. We've tried to be really sensible about them, and again today we did that. Monfils just warmed up in the last warm-up, and if you were watching him, he actually couldn't kick the ball.
Yeah.
And his hip flexor just went on him a little bit, and nothing that I think will worry him for next week. But it's just one of those things that it can happen, and it can happen at strange moments. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I suppose the thing is we brought 2 emergencies up. Aaron Young was halfway back to the airport.
Oh.
So the cab turned around, got caught in traffic on the Gold Coast. Can you believe that? There's not much traffic up on the Gold Coast, and he got caught in a bit of a traffic jam and was getting back to the game. So we were mindful that 10 minutes before the game, you think you're pretty safe. I reckon you can. Aaron was going to play tomorrow for the Magpies. So.
Was it a frustrating game in the sense that you had it, but it was down that attacking end, but it didn't happen for you?
We just can't score in conditions like that. That was as tougher conditions as you play AFL football in anymore. There's very, very, very rare you play in conditions as bad as that. We had 33 more entries.
Yeah.
If you get a game and you have 33 more entries, the scoreboard's usually very, very flattering. Unfortunately, because of the conditions, we weren't able to make them pay. And the Gold Coast, to their credit, they hung in for the fight. And that's what I expect of them. It's only 2 teams beating them up here on the Gold Coast, and that's Hawthorn and Sydney.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's a pretty big win for us.
Well, is it relief, Ken, because the effort improved last week, obviously against Sydney, but you hadn't had a win in a while, and they had a lot to play for today. Oh yeah, both sides have it. You always have, and it's not so much relief. I'm just proud of the way the boys played. I reckon, as I said, in really tough conditions. We made some blues out there today that you just don't want to make in wet weather conditions. But that's again another learning thing. The first quarter we were going 41-39 kick to handball, and the boys know that's wrong, but they just couldn't break the cycle. Then we got that right. We were able to take some yards, and it was a game of metres today, and we were able to come out on top.
You feel you made another step forward today?
I'm really pleased with the win up here, because I value the win up here. Having been up here, I probably understand the talent that we're playing against. And yes, Gary's not in the team, but I just respect so much the ability of that team that we played today, and I just know how good they're going to be at some stage, and they worry me. So I got great respect for them.
It was really make or break, though, pardon the cliche, but today was incredibly important in terms of you now have a chance for a top 4 again, a slight chance. It could have looked horrible with a loss. Oh,
well, again, when you turn up and you're playing conditions like that, I knew coming in this was going to be a bit of luck. It was going to get you out of over the line, a fair bit of strong method, and that's why the entries were so important when you can dominate time in half. I think we would have dominated time in half. I don't know the number, but it would have been ridiculous, I think, in our favour. So that meant the risks weren't as high for us, but, again, credit to the Gold Coast when they got forward, they were able to get a couple.
Yeah.
Hamish Hartlett seemed sort of hobbled off late in that fourth quarter. How's he?
Yeah, he just give his ankle a little tweak. Nothing that I would think causes any problems. Going forward, we don't play till next Friday night. He'll be fine, I'd imagine, unless something that comes up a bit later on. But he should be okay.
Just a word on his game. He was obviously the other Robbie and Travis both were getting sort of closely watched in that first half, and Hamish was able to sort of get.
Yeah, that's what happens against us now. There's a bit of depth in our midfield, so you've got to be a bit mindful of who you go. I thought Robbie Gray was outstanding again. I thought Robbie was, in my view, quickly after the game, I think he was best on ground, and just damaging the way he wins his own ball and sets the game up a little bit for us, even in tough conditions like today. But Hamish was certainly, we know the talent of Hamish Hartlett. We just want to make sure it's really consistent.
You're building up a little bit of momentum again. What have been the key ingredients, do you think? Is it as simple as contested possession the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's as simple as just getting your hands dirty as much as you possibly can. And you ask some people, why do you go away from that? It just happens in a game sometimes. And I thought the Gold Coast early were winning crucial balls in tight, and I think that's that was making a bit of a difference. So for us, we know that for us the heartbeat of our team is that we have to win tough football, and I think every coach in the AFL would say the same though. So it's just the way we know the game's played. If you don't win contested possession, you're in trouble.
Now that you are safe, you are in the finals now, does that change your approach at all?
No, we need to win next week. and that's what we're going out to do. We didn't set our sights at the start of the year to play finals. We just set our sights to compete in every game we play in and make sure we give a good account of ourselves. And I think we've done that for most part of the season, even though we've been through this tough period where we've now 3 and 6 or something, I think, in our last 8 or 9 games. I think we've been in every game. At least we've been in every game. We've given ourselves a chance to win those games. We haven't been able to complete the task, and that can be opposition, and that can also be our own problem. So I think we've at least competed each week, and that's what we're going to try and do again next week.
Just on the health front, the 2 players who were withdrawn today, will they be okay? Are there other players coming back?
Yeah, you expect they'll be okay. Trengo will definitely be okay because that was, we were pretty precautious with his ankle, and I would expect Gus will be okay too. It was just a slight hip flexor where it just wouldn't free up for him when he got out in the ground the second time. He was okay in the first warm up. Just funny how it just happens sometimes, and I'd be very surprised if he's not right.
Was it just a case of over-caution given the conditions and stuff like that?
Just
with those guys? Like
No. Well, Monfils was out there with a minute and a half to go. He was playing, and unfortunately, it just went wrong for him in the second warm-up, and he just couldn't get his leg going. So we just took the safest tack, and that is to make sure you got fit players out there the best you possibly can, and we did that. And Trengo, as I said, hurt his ankle. We subbed him out at the end of last week's game, first game back, and then he got stood on again at training on Wednesday. So we were mindful of that, and we knew he was a little bit sore. We brought him up here, let him run around yesterday. He said he's still feeling a little. I said, look, if it plans out the way it looks like it might, we probably won't take a risk with you, Jacko, and that's what we did.
Ken, with the weather, I guess you never want to play in that sort of weather, and it's not a great spectacle, but other than last week against Sydney, your contested footy was good, but it's been off. It sort of gives you no choice then, doesn't it?
Like
you know the terms the game's going to be played. Do you sort of get a bit of secret glee out of that?
Yeah, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's what you want the game to be. You want it to be tough and hard, and you've got no choice, as you say, in those conditions than to play that way. And that's why, again, I respect the Gold Coast for the way they were able to go about it too. And they're a bit younger than us, so it makes it a little bit harder than them.
All right. Thanks, Ken. You excited?
Actually made the phone.